ലിജോ സാറേ,
Yeah, good morning, sirs.
ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
Good morning, sirs.
Sir, there's some audio problem. She is waiting for that.
Maybe she has to join from that tested email ID, harshavaidyar@gmail.com. She may be using
Yeah, I
that.
will. Sir, I will check with the Sijo.
Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So can we start, sir?
Hello. പിന്നെ ആട്ടെ ഞാൻ മീറ്റിംഗിലാ. ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം. Akshay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, now I can hear you. Clear it
Okay.
was.
Akshay, now you can start. It's okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Myself, Harsha Varya from S7 Computer Science Engineering Department, and I'm also the Placement Cell Student Coordinator. So, as we all know, today we'll be having sessions from the training and placement cell of our college. So, first, we'll have a session by JL sir. But before we move on to the session, we'll have a brief introduction about our placement cell and also the general working of and the procedures of the placement cell. So for which I invite our training and placement officer, Dr. Bobby K. George sir. Over to you, sir.
So, okay, good morning to all. Respected Principal Dr. Shiba V.S., Teacher, Dean Dr. Lijo V. Sir, Engineer J.S., faculty members, and my dear students. First of all, I welcome all of you to Training and Placement Cell, EC Thrissur. As mentioned earlier, today we will have two sessions, forenoon session and afternoon session. So in forenoon session, Engineer Yesh will handle the class, and afternoon we will have another person, Mr. Bibin, Engineer Bibin. So he will direct the classes. So now I will give you a brief idea about the operations, functions, objectives of Training and Placement Cell GEC Thrissur. So GEC Placement Cell is a voluntary organization functioning with the joint effort of principal, students and faculty members of Government Engineering College Thrissur. So this is the organization structure of the Training and Placement Cell. So principal is in the topmost authority, and under that there is a governing body. So it is a consortium of 9 department heads and training and placement cell officer and additional training and placement cell officer. Under that, the training and placement cell officer is working. Then additional training and placement cell officer. Now Professor Anwar Sadiq, he is a faculty member from Mechanical Engineering Department. He is in charge of additional training and placement cell officer. And for your day-to-day affairs, for giving necessary support, an office is functioning in association in the backside of our main auditorium. So an office assistant is also there. And in the organizational structure, after that, placement cell coordinators are there. So they are students coordinators, and under that placement cell volunteers are there. So the placement cell coordinators selected from placement cell volunteers. That is from each department. And under that, the placement cell members are there. So this is the organizational structure of the placement cell. So first of all, I will give you an idea about what is campus placement. So the campus placement or campus recruitment is a program conducted within universities or colleges to provide jobs to students nearing completion of their studies. That means before the completion of the course, they will get an offer from a good company or industry, and after the completion of the course, he or she can directly join in the job. So that is the main advantage of the campus placement. And the main thing is, in this type of program, the education institutions partner with the companies who wish to recruit from the students population. So normally two types of companies are approaching our college. One is IT companies and second one is core companies. In addition to that, nowadays overseas recruitment also started from our college. That means with the support of alumni, because we know that our college is very old and many alumni are in good condition and well positioned. So they are coming and recruiting students from our college for their companies. So that overseas recruitment also started, and that also is going in a good way. So this is about the campus placement. Now we have to think about what support the placement cell is giving to students. So we know that normally after the completion of the course, our objective is, because about 70% of the students, they are really interested to join some jobs. So that is the main objective. So mainly there are four classification. One is job hunting, that means getting a job in India or abroad. So job searching in government department, public sector units, corporate industries, teaching, consultancy, IT services, so many sections are there. And then some students, they are interested for going higher studies, that may be in India or abroad. So normal way, so MDuck or PhD, IITs or some GATE exams or some MS programs, so many things are there. Some students are interested to join for management course, that means MBA, some IAMs through CAT, and some are going for MBA abroad. So some GRE or GMAT, some scores they are getting and they are joining for that program. And some people are interested some specific courses, job oriented courses, some specialization in CAD, FEM software, so many things are there, project softwares, quality control softwares. So they are interested to specialize in that area and then searching for the job. And the third category, they are entrepreneurship, they are interested for starting or startup. And some students, very few number, they have to continue with their family business, traditional business or some services or start some social ventures, etc. So these are the general four categories. Normally the students are um, selecting their career objectives. So what placement cell can give? So we know that this is a 4-year course. So in order to attain this goal or target, some formation is required for the students. That means now you are in the age of 17 or 18. Then after that, next 4 years, so you have to be in a 4-year course for a professional course. So after 4 years, you will be a professional. So you need some support. For attaining this object, placement cell will give you the necessary support. And this is the objective of training and placement cell in Government Engineering College, Thrissur. So the objective of training and placement cell is to provide training to the students on attitude, knowledge and employability skills. So actually we are focusing three things. One is attitude, second is knowledge, and third is skills. So in short form, ASK. And ultimately provide placement in various industries or organizations by arranging campus recruitment drives. So when we are thinking about attitude, that means how can I improve my attitude? So we know that there are three types of attitude: positive attitude, negative attitude, neutral attitude. So what we are doing is we are giving necessary support to build up positive attitude in the students. That means to create a positive mind or to create a positive vibe or mood or provide a positive life for the next 4 years for the students. So be positive. That means we have to change our attitude. So we have to think about that. After 4 years, I need a campus placement. So what I have to do? What changes that I have to do for the next 4 years in order to get a good campus placement? So you have to change your attitude. So you will be a professional after 4 years in terms of an engineer. So that may be computer or electrical or mechanical or civil, whatever may be. So the good nature, helpful character, peaceful mind, entertaining, expressive, humorous, loud, graceful, etc. Because in my experience, many companies, HR department, many people are coming for recruitment. Even though in addition to the normal mark or percentage of mark, they are considering these three things. That means the first thing is the attitude. whether what is the attitude of that person towards a particular work or towards an engineering profession. Second thing is knowledge. That means in the next 4 years, you have to study nearly 60 theory papers as well as some labs. So many options are there. So you have to understand about the subject. That means that is the core area. So you have to attain the knowledge. That means you have to do so many experiments in the lab. You have to submit the assignments. You have to do some group tasks. So you have to, that means you have to improve your knowledge through this. So we are giving, that means especially the department, the teachers, the lab staff, the group tutors, they are mainly giving the knowledge. And some specialization is required. For in the case of IT companies, they need a special type of programming or Python or C++ or coding skills. So support you people need some additional skills or some additional knowledge. The training and placement cell give necessary support for the same. And the third is the most important thing, the employment skill. So you will have a long session after this introduction. So you will get the knowledge about the employability skill. So there are two types of skill. One is hard skill that we can measure the quantitative method, and then soft skill, that is the qualitative method. So these are some of the examples. I am not explaining because you will get the full information about the employability skill. That is the skill that you have to develop in the next 4 years, because after the successful completion of this engineering course, you need these three. Attitude, you have to change your attitude, you have to acquire the knowledge, and even though in addition to that, you have to get the skill in that particular profession. So these are the functions of training and placement cell in Government Engineering College Thrissur. First thing is the preparation of aptitude test. So we are giving necessary support. You might have seen the poster, because about 2 weeks before we conducted the training, online training for the second year students and third year students and final year students also. So training programs are mainly conducting by the external professionals, because they have good experience, because they know that how to prepare for the personal interview, how you can do the online group discussion, how you have to submit the resume, all these things. And then mock group discussions and how to face personal interview, and then company specific workshops. Suppose in the case of MRF, they are coming, their placement pattern is totally different. So the college, because the support of alumni and then placement cell give necessary support for the students, how you have to prepare for the test, how you have to attend a specific type of test for MRF, and then their interview, their knowledge test, their group discussion. The questions may be totally different for MRF, because they are in some specific type of corporate sector, and they are selecting the students in the core sector also. So we are doing all this support. We are giving necessary support for the students. And then resume building. So the resume, how you have to prepare. And then participation in technical competitions, because nowadays the TCS, CTS, Infosys, etc., the corporate sector, they already started their competitions, their campus interaction program in second year onwards. So we are giving necessary support for the students to participate all these things. And then the sessions by industry experts and alumni, because we know that this college is very old. So already I inform you that we are having good resources from alumni, and some experts are there. They are taking the classes, and some of the time the alumni are coming for the recruitment also. So they are giving maximum support for our students for getting a good job in India or abroad. And strong collaborations with industries, because we are having like that, having good alumni, they are giving support. And support for BE projects, because nowadays already you know that the internship, etc. So these TCS, CTS, etc. nowadays they are offering online projects. So you can start the projects from the campus itself, and you can get the data, all this from the company. You can do all these things through online also. And in-plant training and internships, that also we are giving necessary support for the students. So these are the major functions of training and placement cell. And this is the placement offers for the last years, because you can see 2017, 18, 19 approximate we got about 450 offers, and then 2020 that also nearly to 450, and that is also in progress because due to COVID pandemic condition, some interviews delayed, and the core companies are still coming, and the interview process is in progress. And 2021, that means next June, so already started about 300 placements. The offer came, and that is also in progress. So these are the general placement cell activities. So invitations, normally the placement cell is sending invitation to company and receive job description from the company, and then job posting. We will post in the website, college website, so you can apply, because in class there is a students representatives are there. So these students representative will give all support to students, how to apply, what are the specific requirements required for the company. They will inform all these things, and then invite students application. If you are really interested, you can apply, and some students are interested for some companies and some students are not interested, so that is up to you. So you can apply if you are really interested. And then eligible students is preparation and resume sent. So you can see resume, so that's the most important thing, because in the final year you have to submit the resume. But how the resume will build? Because you have to enter something, that means you have to prepare for second year and third year. You have to do, because in the next session engineer Jayesh will give you an idea about how you have to prepare resume. So you will get all the information through that. And then the company people will come to our campus. They will do a pre-placement talk and campus placement, and they will conduct the aptitude test. Nowadays the online test started, because everything is online, and group discussion also online, personal interview also online, and written test also is online. And then group discussion and personal interview and final section. Then after that they will send the offer letter to placement cell, and the placement cell share the offer letter to the concerned students. So this is the normal recruitment steps normally following in our campus. And this is the next question: when to start thinking about campus placement? So that is the most important thing. So normally students will think about that. This is in final year, after final year, but we have to think a quote. So the future depends on what do you do today. So our father of nation Mahatma Gandhi quote is there. So we have to start the preparation now itself. That means when to start thinking about campus placement means this type of guidance normally we are giving. So year one, normally we are giving foundation training. There is a phase one. So you know that in the engineering or NEET examination, nowadays the foundation training started 8th standard or 9th standard onwards, because you will get the benefit in the end of 12th standard. So what we are planning, so year one onwards we will start the foundation training, and then year two the phase two foundation training. That means you will get all the information, and year three, that is a time for placement or internship training, etc. And year four only the placement activities, because in the year four, seventh semester, that means in June July the process will start, campus placement will start. So in year three itself you have to complete all the formalities. So this is the training schedule normally we're following. So this is a challenge. 4 year, this is a challenge. So you have to finally you have to attainment of goal. So this is the first year, second year, and third year is goal. And so the achieving the goal is in final year. So first thing is you have to prepare yourself. So you have to think what is your plus points, what is your minus point. So you have your merits and demerits to be analyzed, and then you have to plan for your career yourself, and determination is required about your interest, and finally you have to discover the potential offer. So don't let anything stop you from reaching your goal, because resources are there. College will give well facilities, equipped lab is there, and professors are there, and principal is giving always 24 hours support for the placement and your uh, career activities, all these things. So only thing is you have to utilize the effective resources. That is the only thing. So the thing is that time and tide wait for none. So opportunities will never wait for you because the placement cell, the program will start first year. So you have to start your career planning from first year onwards. Then only you can continue in the second year, third year, and then finally you can attain a goal. So time is like a river. You cannot touch the same water twice because the flow that has passed will never pass again. That means first year you have to get something, means you have to attain the knowledge, you have to attain the skill, you have to change your attitude in the first year itself. Second year, the system, the syllabus, the thing is totally different. So I can say one thing: study hard, do good, and enjoy your college life. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. So now we move to the next session, or the first session of the day, that is by Mr. Jayesh JL sir. So speaking about Jayesh sir, he's a BTech and IT graduate and a Harvard MBA holder. And after that, he has an 8 years of industry corporate experience and 15 years of professional training experience for placements and various competitive examinations. And currently, he is the chief mentor for the JS Academy. And with everyone's permission, I invite you, sir, and handing over to you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bobby sir, Lijo sir. Good morning, Harsha. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank each and everyone in the college placement department, as sir said, starting with the principal and the governing body and placement department headed by Dr. Bobby sir, and each and every one in charge of placements and other related departments who have facilitated a smooth placement year on year with wonderful records on placement and industry awareness. Thank you so much for providing us with this opportunity to interact with you students right from the first year, which is a rare privilege for us. JS Academy consider this as one of the best opportunities to groom you right from first year till your final year, so that by the time you pass out, you know exactly where you stand in terms of employability and industry expectations or corporate expectations. Right. So students, am I audible?
Yes, it is okay. Okay, sir. You can proceed.
Fine, thank you, sir. Before I start my session, I have a few preconditions, not rules. These preconditions are just, some guidelines for you how to attend the session. One, please make sure that you attend throughout the session and you don't leave in between. And I want you to be focusing throughout the session. And rule number two, please feel free to stop me in case of any interruptions, like my voice is breaking, or my audio is not clear, or my slides are not clear, or in case any words or sentences that I make in essence or letter, if it is not clear, please feel free to stop me. Either you can unmute yourself and speak, or maybe you can send a message in the chat box so that all of us can see. Fine. Having said that, let me also tell you that we will have a doubt clearance session the last 15 minutes, which is around 11 to 11:15. I'll hand over the session to you students to clear all your doubts related to whatever points which I made in my show. All right. And third point, please make sure that you take down these points which I'm going to present before you, because you might find it interesting right now. Later, you might forget many of these points. So what you can do is keep a notebook and paper and pen ready with you and jot down the important points. Maybe I can send the PPT or the PowerPoint presentation slides to Bobby sir later. I wouldn't recommend copying those points from the slides. Rather, you take it down by yourself like a classroom so that you understand, and then you write it down so that it gets impressed on your mind for a long time. Okay? Is that scheme of things very clear, all of you, my dear students? Right? Fine. Let me start by saying that, engineering, which is the course that you have chosen as your career path, I would say it's one of the best decisions that you have made in your life. mainly because in today's job scenario, where there is very tight competition, engineering is one of the safest bets, one of the safest options to fetch you a good career path, to fetch you the right prospects which you are looking for in the long run. As Bobby sir rightly pointed out, even if it is your family business, or you want to start your own enterprise or an startup, or you want to be part of a big corporate organization, engineering will definitely provide the platform for that, the foundation. Because if you look at any field, you look at space technology, you look at medical field, all these fields depend directly or indirectly on engineering skills. For example, medical field. How come surgeries have become so sophisticated? Previously, if you remember, there was only one department for dental sciences, which is Bachelor of Dental Surgery and Master of Dental Surgery. But if you look up now for the various branches of dentistry, you'll find that there are at least 5 super specialization, one of which is maxillofacial. Have you heard of maxillofacial surgery? Which is, suppose someone meets with an accident and his jawbone or his face or teeth have suffered some injury and deformation of shape, that can be set right using maxillofacial surgery. If you ever see a maxillofacial surgeon's equipment, or just type Google search or YouTube video for maxillofacial surgery equipment, you will find that those equipment are so sophisticated, and these are made by engineers specifically related to biomedical field. So today engineering has even entered medical field, without whose help, the latest surgeries would not have been possible. So we should all be proud that we have joined a stream, joined a discipline, a group of professionals who are out there to help the world, help humanity, help nature, help ecology, to come up with new technology, to come up with new ventures and ideas that would help humanity survive on this planet Earth safely and smoothly, to tide over all the crises, natural disasters, and of course, other contingencies. Fine. So the first thing that you need to have when you do engineering is love your branch. Please make sure that you don't give in to any suggestions which are bad mouthing your course. For example, when you reach the campus for direct physical classes, not virtual classrooms, some of your seniors might try to dissuade you by saying that this college is not good, this branch is not good, why did you choose this branch? Please go and do something else. Today engineering has become a pathetic program. Those things are quite heard in a few campuses, especially by seniors who are actually not interested, or who have a lot of supplementary papers and who might not pass out on time. Students, let me make one thing very clear. The branch you have chosen is definitely the best for you. Some of you might think that I've been pushed into this branch, I've been pushed into engineering. That's all fine. I would say those are all excuses. The first thing you need to be good to do to be good in your branch is start loving your branch. Don't give in to views by others. Don't be persuaded because somebody says that your branch is not good. You will not find a core job. You will not get placed with high salary. All these are things done by miscreants to detract you from your path towards a professional career. So what is point number one? Please do not believe people around you who say that the course is bad, the college is bad, your branch is not up to the mark. All those things should not demotivate you. Am I clear? So basically you should love your branch, right? Is that point very clear? So that is the first and most important point for the day. What is that? Please love your branch. Am I clear? Is that clear, all of you? Okay, Tripti, Jishnu, good. Alan, Danya, good. I like that response from everyone. Very good. Now, having said that, let me tell you some interesting experiences in my engineering college life, which you might not be able to go through because times have changed. I did my engineering in 94, 98, mechanical mining from NIT Raipur. And that was one of the turning points in my life, not just academically, but various walks of life, including my courage, my strength to tackle the problems and to face the world. So it made me really a bold person, I would say, especially 4 years of hostel life and staying away from my home state. Okay. So the point here I want to emphasize is engineering college life, campus life should also be used as a platform to shape your personality and character in a good way. You will find a lot of issues in the campus related to politics, related to groups, frictions within your branch and outside your branch, friction between you and your seniors or juniors as time passes by. All these issues should be seen with a positive frame of mind. What I mean to say is that don't make these things so complicated that it will affect your life and career. For example, if you want to be in politics in campus, take it as a constructive aspect to help others around you, not because you're fundamentally deep rooted in a particular political ideology and you want to establish those principles in your campus. It doesn't make sense. That won't help you or others around you. Do it as a constructive thing and don't get involved in any fights or police cases that would affect your career. So do it in a moderate level. Point number two, don't get into addictions, especially if you're a hosteler. There might be chances that you are exposed to a lot of addictions and people around you might be using a lot of such addictive substances, which try to stay away from. Because recently, by a survey done by one of the NGOs in India, it was found that engineering colleges, especially government engineering colleges, including IITs, have become a hub for many miscreants who want to sell all these substances, including alcohol, drugs, and substances. Please make sure that you do not get involved in such rackets and stay away from that, because even if you are not directly involved, you could be in police cases even if such a person has done one phone call to you. So those are very tricky and dangerous situations which you could land up in due to bad company in your campus. So try to stay away from such things in the campus. And if you are interested in social activities, including politics, do it in a very moderate level. So these are the two things which you should be aware of in your engineering life. One, love your branch. Two, do everything in moderate level, because academics is not the only thing that you're going to do in campus. The other things, if you want to participate, do it in a constructive, harmless way. Having said that, let us move on to the main topic, the main agenda for today's meeting and discussion, which is employability skill. Let me start by a negative statement here. I know it's not good to start with a demotivating statement. However, that is a harsh reality which engineers in India are facing now, which is, according to a survey by NASSCOM. I hope you are aware of the full form of NASSCOM, National Association of Software Companies, who does survey on not just IT companies but employability of other branches of field of study, including engineering. They found that surprisingly more than 65% of graduates, I repeat, more than 65% of graduates passing out from different colleges in India, including professional colleges like IITs and NITs and brilliant private institutions like BITS Pilani, they are not employable. Could you believe that? I repeat, more than 65% of fresh graduates passing out of colleges in India are not employable as per industry expectations and standards. Now that is tough to believe, I know. One main reason for this is that the Indian system of education, especially in higher education, like undergraduate and postgraduate levels, is kind of obsolete, outdated. Why is it outdated? Here I'd like to compare the education system in India with foreign universities in Europe and US and Canada, of course. In India, a college and its reputation and the number of students taking admission depends on how well the students are placed So if I run an institution or a college, my college brand name is dependent on two things. How many companies come for placements and what is the average pay package that a company can offer to the students. So those colleges like IIMs, Indian Institute of Management, or IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, whose pay packages are much higher compared to other colleges, rank high in the list of top colleges in India. But if you take even the best IIT or Indian Institute of Science or any other top college in India, you will find that they hardly come in the list of top 50 in the world. See, the pay package is very high, the placement rate is high, and the college is very good, sought after by many students, brilliant students in India. Still, they don't even figure in the first 50 list when it comes to top ranked world universities. Why does this happen? This is exactly what NASSCOM has said in a different method, in a different survey. The problem here is in India, education, especially at levels of graduation and post graduation, it is all job oriented. You also have joined engineering program thinking, hoping that you will find a job when you pass out without much effort because there is a placement department to spoon feed you, hand over a job to you in a silver platter and be happy. But that is not the right method. An educational institution is a place where learning is the primary purpose, not jobs. If you go to some of the world's best universities like Harvard, I am a pass out of Harvard University. I did my MBA through Harvard. There were no placements at all. In fact, there is no placement department in some of the best top foreign universities. You go to Cambridge, Oxford, Stanford, Wharton Business School. Why is Wharton Business School famous? It is one of the best business schools, management, education colleges in the world, from where Google CEO Mr. Sundar Pichai has passed out after having completed his BTech from IIT and MS from MIT. The point here is these people did not go to Wharton or Stanford expecting a job. What I'm trying to drive in here is these colleges, which are internationally reputed, situated in Europe, US, Canada, etc., they do not offer jobs to their students. That is not their primary purpose. That is not why they exist. These colleges or educational institutions exist to impart learning to its students, to impart knowledge. So those students who want to learn something, please come to us. Those students who want job, we are not interested. Job is just a byproduct. So you might wonder how these people who pass out from such top universities in the world find jobs. Can we make this session a bit more interactive? So I have a question for you. How do these top universities like Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or Wharton Business School, or Carnegie Mellon, or top European universities, how do they place their students? I said there is no placement department. Companies don't come to the campus. But still, students who pass out of these institutions get jobs in world famous multinational companies at very high positions. Students, can you guess how these students in these universities get placed in top companies? Anyone? Either you may unmute yourself and speak, or you can see your answers in the chat box. Hellman has an answer. Perhaps the students hunt for jobs and place themselves. Okay. Nice try, Hellman. That's partially correct. Anyone else? It's the brand value of these institutions and the skills they teach the students. Fine, Sneha, but how will brand values help them get a job? I said the companies don't come to the campus. Neither the college offers any placement. Startups, not necessary that all the people who pass out from these universities go and build a startup. The skills they learned in those colleges gives them an advantage over the others. But how a job, maintaining a good portfolio and resume, Abdullah, fine, but how do they get job? Quality of education, companies reach them, maybe their talents are noticed by the companies, they have good networks with the industry experts. Now, Abhiram is getting close to the answer. Abhiram, they have good networks with industry experts. Could you specify who the they in your answer stand for? Off-campus placement, okay, Madhav. Alumni, okay, partially correct. Yeah, Abhiram, they have good networks. Who have good networks? The students, okay. Shikha says companies look for people with consistent performance. But then these students are still in the college. So how will companies assess their performance? Companies invite them. Why should the companies invite them? Through platforms like LinkedIn. So you mean to say, Abram, that these students in these top universities were not placed when LinkedIn was not there? Not necessary. See, please understand, sites like LinkedIn, social sites like LinkedIn cannot help you beyond a limit. It will just help you showcase your skills and project your profile to the outside world. That does not mean that companies will give you a job just because you have a good profile in LinkedIn. It is just a facilitating platform. Like I want a job, I want a person to work for me. I may go and search LinkedIn, and if there is a profile that suits me, maybe I'll give an opportunity for that student or person to attend an interview. So please don't misunderstand that LinkedIn is a job platform. It is just a facilitator. Maybe they enter the company through internship and they'll like, Alexander, you are absolutely right. Very good. I'll give you a clap for you here, Alexander. Maybe they enter the company through internship and build their career. Fantastic. Alexander, anyway, the spelling of career is wrong. Career. Okay. Fine. Let me emphasize on internship and how top universities. Okay, that's okay, Alexander. I understand typo errors. See, what happens during your course in a top university in the world is these top universities always work in close association with industry. I'll give you an example. If you go to Sweden, you know the country Sweden, where many automobile companies have their regional corporate head offices. Like in Sweden, you have the head office of Volkswagen, you have the head office of Volvo, you have the head office for Scania. So there are a lot of top automobile companies with their manufacturing units in many European countries. Let's take for example Sweden. Let's say in a place in Sweden, there is a good university, and within that 10-kilometer vicinity or in the same district or province, you have a big automobile manufacturer. Now what happens is the top professors in, let's say, mechanical engineering or automobile engineering department of that university would be part of the R&D. What is R&D? Research and development wing of that university, and vice versa. Top R&D people in these companies would be part of the board of directors or part of teaching faculty members in the college. So it is like a mutual symbiotic arrangement where the industry contributes to the university through its professors and their knowledge contributes to the industry. So it's a give and take. Now what happens? Let's say one of the professors in a particular engineering division in the university has 20 students under him. So he would make these 20 students part of his research project which they are doing in association with the automobile company. I repeat, the professor has a team of 20 research scholars, postgraduate or MS, Master of Science students under him. So what happens is these students along with the professor would be part of a project which the automobile company might have undertaken. Okay. So now this is how Volvo came up with the concept of seat belt. Did you know that Volvo was the first automobile company to come up with the idea of seat belt, which revolutionized the safety aspects of automobiles? Have you heard that Volvo company came up with seat belt? Did you ever know this? Did you ever know that Volvo Okay. So how did Volvo develop the concept or idea of seatbelt? It is through these kind of mutual research with university and research scholars. Now let's assume that this professor along with this group of 20 students work for a project of this automobile company. Alright. And let's say the project lasts for 6 months. And let's say the students are there for a 2-year postgraduate program. Let's say out of these 20 students, there are 3 students whom the company found to be very, very productive, useful, efficient. What the company does is, the company would give them something known as a PPO. Have you heard of this word PPO? Look at the board. It is known as PPO. Can you see the board, all of you? Now, have you heard this word before, PPO? PPO means, have you heard of this word PPO? Okay. PPO means pre-placement offer. Pre-placement offer. Now, what do you mean by a pre-placement offer? I said these team of interns in the company work for the project, and out of these 20 students, 3 students performed exceptionally well. So the company gives them a letter which is known as PPO, pre-placement offer. So in that letter, it would be written that the company has been impressed by your work since you have completed your targets. We are happy to invite you for a position in our organization. If you would like to take up this organization, please contact the HR department after your course is completed in the university. Such an offer is known as pre-placement offer. This is how even Sundar Pichai got placed in Google. Would you believe that? It is through pre-placement offers. So which means if you are in a good foreign university, the primary purpose is learning. Job is a byproduct which will automatically follow. The advantage of the system is, one, you become exceptionally brilliant in your area of interest. Two, you're working in close association with the industry even while you are in college as a student. So the industry university interface is absolutely productive, where resources from both fields can be used for mutual benefit and understanding. Point number 3, job in your area of interest will follow naturally without the help of any placement assistance. That is why foreign education system is much more advanced than what we have in India, especially when it comes to professional courses. Did you understand this fundamental difference between the education system in India and abroad? Now this system will change in India over a period of time because a lot of new initiatives have come up to make courses like engineering more professional. Is this absolutely clear, all of you? Did you understand this point? Okay. So the rest of my session today, I'll take you through some important aspects of professionalism and how to make your career more suitable for the industry, your experience and exposure in 4 years of your engineering. All right. So let's move on to uh, my slides. Fine. Yes. Can you all see the slides now? Are all the slides visible? Fine. So let's first understand the most important thing with respect to the career of an engineer, which is professionalism. What do you mean by professionalism? Let me ask you a question here. Maybe when Bobby sir studied his engineering, or when I passed out from my college, there was a common saying or view that engineers are professionals and engineering is a professional course. So we had the tagline of professionalism. But now, hardly is engineering classified as a professional course. Do you know why? One major reason why engineering is no more a professional course, or at least not all engineering colleges are classified as professional engineering colleges, or not all engineers are classified as professionals, is due to some interesting observations. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever find a campus placement happening in medical colleges? No. Or if you go to a college which has architecture branch, let's say College of Engineering Trivandrum or TKM or anywhere, I don't know whether your college has architecture. So if you go to a college, engineering college which has architecture, would you find campus placement for architects when all the other branches have campus placements? Not exactly. Correct? You go to a chartered accountant college or a program in chartered accountancy. Would you find campus placements? Very less. What am I trying to say? So you won't find campus placements in medical colleges. You won't find campus placement in architecture. The reason, these people are not really in for a job. Rather, these people know what to do after they pass out because they are professionals. So what do you mean by a professional? A professional is a person who is eligible to offer his services because he is exceptionally brilliant and qualified in that particular area of operation. The point is, he or she is not at the mercy of an employer or a job provider. A person who passes out of a medical college and MBBS graduate need not depend on a hospital to come and place him. He has options. Maybe he can start practicing. He can go to any hospital and say that I would like to practice. He can open a clinic or he can do higher studies. Once upon a time, engineering was like that. An engineer used to be highly skilled in his respective branch and area of interest. And the next step was he used to work under a senior for some time to get some experience, and he would immediately start his own venture. That is how architects perform, right? An architect graduate would start practicing under a qualified, experienced architect, and then when he feels that he or she is ready to practice on his own, they would go and start their own architect firm. Correct? This is what you mean by professionalism. So the first thing about professionalism is your skill set. What are the skills that you have to make you a professional? Example, a professional photographer. A professional photographer need not be working as part of any organization, but people are willing to buy photographs from him. People are willing to use his services at a price. So his quality is what makes him stand out. So your skill set, which is exceptionally brilliant, your technical knowledge. What do you mean by technical knowledge? Your grasp over the subject, your command over the subject or the technology which you are using, and practical and hands-on experience. Have you just learned it through bookish knowledge, or do you know how to implement that knowledge in real life? And your exposure. What do you mean by exposure? The different number of situations you have been to, which helped you improve on your experience. That is known as your exposure. And last but not the least, it is your soft skills part. What do you mean by soft skills? your people management skills, your crisis management skills, your decision making, your ability to deal with situations, the way you speak, the way you write letters, the way you can do marketing about your organization, all this come under soft skills. So professionalism is actually a blend of these qualities. So if you have these things when you pass out, you are a professional. You are eligible to be called as a professional. So please understand. Remember, I told you about the NASCOM survey, which said that about 65% of graduates and postgraduates in India are not employable, which means indirectly they lack professionalism. They don't even know why they learned that particular field of study, which is a very sad state of affairs. Okay. So how to build professionalism and how to make yourself employable. That is our theme for the day. One more, one more thing about professionalism is, remember this 3C, which I'm going to teach you. 3Cs. You call it 3C. The first C is core competency. Most of the engineers would have heard this term. Your professors and trainers, teachers there in your college would have heard of this term, core competency. This is the foundation of your professionalism. What do you mean by core competency? Have you heard of the word core competency? Anyone? Have you heard of the word core competency? Anyone? Have you heard of the word core competency? Please respond. No. Okay. I'll explain what core competency is through an example. Okay. What is Sachin Tendulkar's core competency? What is Sachin Tendulkar's core competency as a cricketer? Anyone answer? Obviously his batting. So his core competency is batting. Correct? Now what in batting? One, his ability to handle pressure. Two, his ability or control over his strokes. Three, his ability to deal with any kind of bowling, whether it be spin, fast, medium pace, off spin, leg spin, in swinger, out swinger, yorker, anything you bowl at him, he is ready to handle it because that is his core competency. So now do you understand what your core competencies are? So for an engineer or any professional or doctor, what is core competency? These are the things. Read these points. What are your areas of interest? You have to identify your areas of interest, your strongest subject, your strengths, your updated knowledge, how well versed you are in your subject. See the next point, journals and library. Now please, let's take a minute to understand updated knowledge and journals and library. One problem with Indian education system is most of the textbooks, if you take in your engineering and go to the first page, backside, you will find that the year of printing is given. Most of the textbooks which you learn in almost all the branches, the first print might have taken place as early as 1990s. That means you're learning something which is kind of outdated. I'm not talking about fundamentals. I'm talking about updated knowledge. So that is a big issue. Most of the universities in India do not have a mechanism to update the curriculum at par with the industry developments. So which computer science or electronics curriculum in India would deal with a subject on latest smartphones? No. It will take at least 5 more years for your textbooks to have such a course. The reason being, our universities are not still competent enough to update their syllabus in accordance with the developments in technology happening in the industry. This is one major difference between Indian universities and foreign universities. So you cannot let it go like that. How will you update yourself? See the point, journals and library. What are journals? If you go to your library in your engineering college, once it reopens, you will find that most of the departments or department libraries would have subscribed to national and international journals in different subjects of your field of engineering, which will give you updated knowledge about the developments happening in research in your respective areas. So if you have to be updated in a particular field of interest in your branch, the best option is to go to the library and read journals. Example, if a mechanical engineer goes to a library of his department and search for journals, one very common journal that he or she would come across is automobile journals like Auto India. Don't just use it for seeing cars and pictures. If you see, they would have mentioned the latest research going on in various kinds of automobiles, fuel like Tesla, electric cars, and specifications, which your textbooks in your college curriculum may not provide. It will not offer such information. This is what is meant by updated knowledge and journals and library. Fine. The point on internship, core competency, internship, which I'll explain in my next slide. Your major and mini projects, which you will do in your 5th semester and final year. Mini project usually you do in your pre-final year, and major project you will do in your final year. These are two most important things that should bring out your creativity and your ability to innovate. And seminars, workshops, and trainings. I'll give you an example of a training program. In Trivandrum, you have the head office of Keltron, and in Keltron, there are monthly courses available during weekends or during semester breaks. If you pay a fee of around 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, they'll teach you a lot of skills related to engineering, especially in electrical and electronics. Such training programs, if you attend quite often, you will learn additional skills which will make you employable. And that is what one point which NASSCOM highlighted in their survey, that students in India, especially in engineering colleges, are very weak when it comes to acquiring new skills or those skills which are needed, which is a foundation. I know many electrical, electronics, engineering students who are not even conversant with soldering. And soldering is an indispensable part of electronics and electrical engineering. So though you may have labs in your college, in your curriculum, dealing with soldering, I still find that many engineers are still not aware of how soldering works and how to do soldering in a very good, flawless, mistakeless way. So such skills should be acquired through additional training if your college does not provide such programs. So this is how you build on your core competencies. Do you understand now what core competency means, all of you? Am I able to convey what core competency means, all of you? So for an engineer or a professional, core competency is what makes you employable, what makes you a professional. Fine. Next. Internships. Now before I move on to internship, let me explain what an internship is, because still students confuse internships with training programs. See, internship is a job. Please understand, internship is a job provided by a company. The only difference between an internship and a job is full-time, internship is part-time. That means if I have my own academy and I am ready to offer you a position even when you are a student, and I assign some work in my organization that I think you can execute and I expect for a result, then you have become an intern with me. I may pay you a salary, I may not pay you a salary, but please understand, any company which provides internship by taking money from the students, it is not good and it is kind of illegal, because in India and elsewhere in the world, companies cannot take internships and take money from them, cannot provide internships, cannot take interns and take money from them unless they provide some training program. So an internship is different, training is different. Internship means you are my employee, but for a short period of time. Okay, keeping that in mind, let's understand these points in internships. One, it's a part-time work. Why I'm saying it's a part-time work is, if you know somebody like a relative or a friend or your father's friend, or you have some kind of family business which is a big firm, you can associate yourself in that firm as a part-time employee, and you will offer your services whenever you are free, on a weekend, on evenings, on semester breaks, on long holidays, and you are working for them and you finish your targets. I'll explain how. My organization, based out of Trivandrum, Jay's Academy, we provide internships to management graduates when they are doing their MBA. We offer them marketing internships. So what these students of MBA have to do, they have to work with us during their summer internship. We will give them tasks. We will ask them to follow up our database, do scholarship tests in various colleges and schools, and ask to contact the parents of these students and talk to them about the courses which we offer. And this is their target. So if an intern does these jobs well, he or she is getting an experience on how to do sales and marketing, correct? And after the completion of the internship, we will provide them with an internship certificate. We may provide them with a salary and other benefits, and we will also help them in finding a job later, or maybe we will offer them a PPO, pre-placement offer. So it's a part-time work. Point number one. Point number two, as per unwritten rules in engineering, an engineer should have at least 180 days aggregate internship, not necessary in one company, in various companies. For example, you had 3-day holidays during puja, okay, Navratri, puja, 3 days. Suppose you worked in an organization in Cochin Info Park for 3 days. So one company, 3 days internship, fine. During a semester break in first semester, between first and second semester, because many students have this doubt whether you can do internships in first semester. You can do internships any time of your engineering. There are certain criteria which I'll explain later. So during your first and second semester break, let's say you have 15 days. So in this 15 days, you worked in a company part-time internship. Let's say during the year break, you had 40 days. In these 40 days, you have, as per latest KTU syllabus, you have internship breaks. You have 40 days and it's mandatory to do an internship. So you did 40 days. So by the time you pass out in these 4 years, your aggregate, the sum of internship days should amount to 180 days. I repeat, it should amount to 180 days of internship, which is suitable for an engineer to get a good position in a company later when he passes out, even if there is no campus placement. Now 180 days divided by 4 years, 180 is roughly half of a year. So half divided by, again, out of 4 makes it 1 by 8. What am I saying? 1 by 8 time of your engineering degree should be spent in jobs, should be spent on internships. Did you understand? Remember this golden formula? 1 by 8 of your time doing your engineering out of 4 years should be with companies. And internships is what make you an experienced engineer even though you pass out without a job. So a fresher is a wrong word for you if you have completed 180 days of internship. Am I clear, all of you? Now the third thing, type of company. There are different types of companies which I don't want to go into right now because that's a huge field. There are various types of companies depending on how it has been incorporated. Example, single owner proprietorship. A medical shop is an example of a smallest medical business unit. Try to get internships and jobs in private limited, public limited, or public sector companies, because these are the 3 biggest companies in terms of magnitude of business, volume, and legal framework. So a private limited company or a public limited company or a public sector company these companies are under government audit. So they are legal entities. That means there should be fixed norms to select candidates for jobs, salary packages, working hours, rules, and other terms of employment, which they have to strictly abide by. Whereas if you work in a single owner proprietorship, or a partnership, they can fire you anytime, even if you are working well. Whereas private limited companies, public limited, what do you mean by public limited? The shares are available to the public. You and I can go and buy their shares from a stock exchange like Bombay Stock Exchange. Infosys is a public limited company. Don't confuse public limited company with public sector company. A public sector company is one in which majority of the shares are owned by the government. It could be a state government or a central government, but the government controls it directly. Whereas a public limited company is a private company whose shares can be bought by the public, but it is managed and run by private individuals who are known as promoters and members of director board. So your job is always secure if you are part of a public limited company or a public sector company, because then you cannot be fired so quickly unless you have done something out of the way. Is that clear? All of you? Any doubts? Is it absolutely clear? Is it absolutely clear? Now the next point about internships is, which department in an organization you are doing internships. I'll keep your doubts for later. I can see a few doubts in the chat box. I'll clear those doubts in the end of the session. First, let me complete what we have to discuss today. Internship, which department of a company you're doing your internship is very crucial. You may do an internship with sales and marketing. You may do internship with HR, human resource department, which is responsible for placement and training and appraisals and evaluations and promotions and salaries. You may work with technical department. You may work with R&D, research and development department. You may even work with operations, which is in charge of production and services. Okay. The main aim of internship is learning through your job profile. So what your job profile is in your internship is very, very important, because when you attend interviews, when you pass out for a job, they will ask you questions related to your internships. And then what are the products and services offered by the organization or the company where you have done your internship. For example, if you have done an internship for an IT company, definitely you should know what are the services offered, what products they offer, and who their clients are. Fine. Next point about internship is you should do an internship with a proper letter from your principal or HOD. That is the right way to get an internship. And that formality I'll explain later. Now, there is something known as an industrial visit which you have to undertake during your curriculum, but don't convert that into a picnic. Usually, engineering students convert industrial visit into a excursion or a picnic, which is not advisable. So if you have 7-day industrial visit, make sure that you visit a company for 6 days, and maybe one day you can take a break and see places. In my engineering life, I did around 8 industrial visits lasting for at least 3 to 4 days on an average. And we did not go to any sightseeing during our industrial visits. So industrial visit is a kind of study tour. You should have done at least 6 days of industrial visit in your engineering curriculum. You should learn about the company, the department, the products and the services which the company provides. It is the best way to get a corporate exposure. For example, I told you how Indian system is different from foreign education system. So to get a corporate exposure, to see how a company works, what are the different departments, how it functions, the best way is an industrial visit, because even during internships you may not be able to find what are the other departments. Whereas an industrial visit, you can actually visit almost all the departments, visit the entire organization. And very, very important, while you visit an industry, while you visit a company, if it's a factory or if it's a IT company or anything, like I know many electrical engineers visiting KSEB power stations. I know many civil engineers visiting Idukki Dam, Peachy Dam, to see how the dam has been constructed. So all these are part of industrial visit. But when you do an industrial visit, you should definitely carry a pen and paper and write down important things, because later you will forget. Also, if it is allowed, if it is permissible, you may take photographs and keep it with you to understand what all things you saw, and then maybe you can explore more and get additional information through other channels like Google or YouTube. This is how you should make your industrial visit complete. Because tomorrow when a company interviews you for a very important position and they ask about industrial visit and you cannot speak anything about your industrial visit and you cannot recollect, it doesn't make sense. For example, when I take interviews of engineering graduates for placements for various companies, mock interviews or serious direct original interviews, and I ask about industrial visit, they are just dumb. They just cannot answer anything because they did not do a proper industrial visit. They just visited places. They went to Bangalore, saw all the places in near Bangalore, but they did not visit the company, or maybe they just visited the company for one day, but that was 2 years ago and they don't remember anything about it, but they have written about that in their resume. So it very bad. It makes you in a very poor, bad light. So you will have to cut a sorry figure. So don't let that happen. Even if it's 6 days, make sure that you spend 6 days learning everything about the company, the department, the product, services. You can expect questions in an interview related to industrial visit based on what is the turnover of the company, what are the different units, how many people work there, whom did you report to. So all these details we will see in our later training programs. So industrial visit is something very, very important. I hope all of you are taking down notes on what I am saying, or are you just clicking on your phone? I'm okay with it, but it is better if you write down notes on what I am saying because it will remain in your mind, in your brain for longer duration. So out of the 3 C's which I mentioned, the first C was core competency, which I said how to develop. The second thing is compatibility. What is compatibility? Very, very important. Compatibility is your ability. See the last few letters, ability. Your ability to compat, to adjust with situations. Here I'd like to mention something about students in Kerala especially, which is students who were born and brought up in Kerala, studied in Kerala, find it very difficult to adjust to a new situation or a circumstance or surrounding when they get placed and move to other states, other towns, other countries, because they are used to their home, their state, the food, etc. This is known as compatibility issues. Whereas if you look at a student from North India or any other state in India, they have no problem in relocating. They are happy moving around. Whereas Kerala students, after they get placed in towns like Bangalore or Chennai, come back, leaving their job, resigning. I cannot adjust with the weather. I cannot adjust with the food. The climate is bad. The weather is not suiting me. I'm always into diseases. This is known as compatibility. So compatibility is about avoiding comfort zone. As of now, your home is your comfort zone. You're very happy with your parents, your relatives, your town, your immediate vicinity, which is bad. Anywhere you go, you should be able to adjust, whatever the situations are. That will make you a professional. So that is known as compatibility, avoiding your comfort zone. Okay. Team building and leadership skills. When you are in your engineering college, you will be happy with your immediate friends. But when you start working in an organization, you will have people from different states, different languages, different culture, and diverse backgrounds. So if you cannot adjust with them, you will definitely have an issue, and hence you will not be able to become a good team player. So team building and leadership skills are very, very important in a corporate organization, which you should start cultivating right from your college, in your campus. How? You should participate in events, you should participate in competitions, inter-college festivals, and you should try to mingle with as many different types of people in and out of campus. That is what is meant by team building and leadership skills. Interpersonal relations, the relationship which you share with your classmates, with your seniors, alumni, teachers, professors, management, principal, people from the industry, all this come under interpersonal relationship. So if you are a very diplomatic, well-mannered, well-behaved person, you are said to have good interpersonal relations. Time management, very important. One big excuse which you are going to give in your engineering life when it comes to submitting assignments, seminars, doing presentations, and especially during exam preparation, especially when you fail in an exam, is that I did not have time. Now that is a big lie, big excuse. If you can manage your time properly, there is time for everything and anything if you do at the right time, which I'll take a session later on time management. And delegation. What do you mean by delegation? If you are 5 friends in your college, you know how to delegate tasks. That will help you in a lot of ways. Like one delegation which you have already done in your school is combined study. 5 good friends come together, share a topic, and you learn the topic, and then you discuss it with your friends and teach your friends. That is known as combined study. So delegation of your jobs, especially in project, internships, and even combined study would come under delegation. Creativity in innovation, very important. How good you are in developing new ideas. For example, if there is a system in your canteen and you can suggest a system, let's say you go and wait in your canteen line for lunch, and it takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day to get to the front to get your lunch coupon or to get your lunch, which I've seen in many engineering colleges. Usually during lunch break, there is a long queue waiting to get lunch. Now that means there is no proper system in place. So you could I created such a system in my mess in my engineering college when I found that our lunch break was from 12:30 to 1:15, and when we reach the mess, hostel mess, there is a long queue of around 100 students waiting. So by the time we finish our lunch and reach college back, the class would have already started, which is bad. And we cannot give the excuse that there was a big queue waiting for lunch. So what we used to do, we used to, ask our friends to take our lunch and be ready. But later, what I and my friends developed was, we developed a small token system in which everybody would say by what time you would be available for lunch in the mess, so that lunch is ready. So you just have to go at that time. You don't have to wait in a queue. So it was kind of token system. So your innovation, creativity in your campus will reflect in your future career also. Learning new skills and updating yourself, very, very important. For example, let's say you are a mechanical engineering student and you have a close friend of yours who is in computer science department in the same college and who shares your room in your hostel. Now you find that he is doing a lot of programming or C++ or Java. Now you should learn basic things about C++ and Java from him. So without spending any money, you can learn new skills and update, which is very crucial. So there is no harm when a mechanical engineer learns programming. It is really good. Similarly, vice versa. There is no harm if a computer science engineer student in hostel has a friend who is in mechanical engineering and learns basics of automobile engineering from the friend. So that is how you learn new skills and update. And very, very important, internal training. If you join an organization, there will be constant internal trainings. So this habit you should cultivate by going for training in your college, where you can go to external academies like NIITs or any other AppTech, where you can learn new skills related to your branch. I know a lot of students of mine from College of Engineering Trivandrum, Barton Hill Engineering College, SET, LBS, who go to outside academies to get certified courses and trained in a very good way. So I'm not saying it is mandatory and you should spend a lot of money on that, or even you can enroll for free online classes or paid online programs, and certificate is not mandatory, but learning the skill is more important. So external and internal training would make you more compatible, so that tomorrow when you start working in an organization, you are trainable. You don't have a problem in learning new skills. Else you will find that you're very shy, you're very diffident. Diffident means opposite of confident, and you shy away from learning new things. That will make you feel out of the group. Okay. And the third C out of the 3 C's: core competency, compatibility, compliance. Compliance comes from the word comply. What do you mean by compliance? See, any organization where you work, even if it is a government organization or a private organization, you have to abide by the rules. You have to obey seniors. You have to listen to the instructions given. You cannot disobey them, which is very, very important in your corporate career advancement. So one key aspect of professionalism is compliance. In simple language, compliance means obedience. Your obedience. Or if you rebel, if you are against the authority, you will have trouble working in organization. Fine. So let's understand what compliance means. See the various parts of compliance. See, the core is code of conduct. What do you mean by code of conduct? Every organization will have certain rules which all the employees, right from the top, CEO, till the lowest rung of employees, which includes maybe a peon or an office boy, would have to obey. Example, a dress code. So most of the IT companies, if you see, they have a dress code. You have to wear a tie. You have to wear the upper button. You have to have full sleeve shirts. You cannot have, odd hairstyles like a freak. You cannot grow a beard. So if you go to a police station, you will not find a policeman or a sub-inspector or a circle inspector with weird hairstyles. It's not allowed. Why? Because they have a code of conduct. So that discipline, that code of conduct is at the core of compliance. So whatever the organization prescribes as a code of conduct, you cannot deviate. You cannot bend the rules. You have to abide by those rules 100%. No exception whatsoever. So if the company says you have to be at the office at 9 a.m., you have to be at the office exactly at 9 a.m. You cannot be there at 9:01. Why? Your entry may be through punching or other bio things, which will all be recorded. So if you are a consistent latecomer, like how you do in your campus or school or college, you will be marked as black. That means you will be served a memo at the end of the month and you will be given a warning. So 3 times you are served a memo in corporate, you are liable to be terminated and nobody can question that. So compliance is a very, very serious issue. And non-compliance issues are most common with Malayalis, with Keralites. Why? Because we always tend to rebel. Whatever somebody asks us to do, we find some sort of pleasure in disobeying it. Our parents ask us to wake up early, we can't. Our parents ask to do something, we can't. Why? Because the first thought that comes to our mind is how to disobey that, how to escape, how to wait, how to run away from it, how to disobey, how to find an excuse. That won't work. Please understand, a corporate organization is like an army or a police setup. There are strict rules which even the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, which even the Managing Director, the Chairman has to obey. There is no escape for anyone from those rules. Fine. So as I said in the beginning, these are things which are part of professionalism. There is no escape whatsoever. You just cannot run away from that. So code of conduct is something very, very important for being a professional. All right. Now, vision, mission of the organization. You might have seen when you go to a hospital, it might be written our vision, our mission. Or if you go to an engineering college like yours, in your department, there might be a vision, mission statement. It is not just for namesake that there is a vision and mission for an organization or a college or a school or a hospital or any organization. Vision means what they plan to achieve in future. What are their aims and objectives? That is vision. And mission, what they want to do is their mission. So vision, mission of the organization is something which every employee has to abide by strictly. I'll give you a very simple and interesting example of vision, mission of the organization. Do you know that people working in Coca-Cola are not supposed to drink Pepsi? Did you ever know this? Did you ever know this? That if you are an employee in Pepsi or vice versa, if you are an employee in Coca-Cola, you cannot drink, you're not supposed to drink Pepsi. Why? Because they are head-on competitors. And that is one part of their vision and mission. It's very interesting, isn't it? So like that, if you know, when you work in TCS, the company would suggest you to buy a car made by Tatas. Similarly, all the cars which the company uses for transporting its employees are Tata made. So these are company policies. You cannot disregard company policies. Am I clear? So that is what is meant by vision and mission of the organization. You have to stick with the company's vision and mission. Fine. Third, abiding by rules, regulations, and instructions. Let's say your team lead is a very rough, ruthless manager. He gives always, very, very difficult tasks to you. You cannot complain. You have to just abide by those instructions silently. You cannot question. You have to obey first and then ask questions later. That is the norm of corporate organizations. Fine. Obedience to authority. That means you have to have 100% submission to your authority. You just cannot blindly question them unless you have a valid point which you can raise in a proper appropriate forum of discussion. Otherwise, you cannot indulge in gossip, bad mouthing, or complaining against the authorities in public or in person with your fellow staff members. It is not advisable at all. Performance appraisals and feedback. All these compliance would result in appraisal. Appraisal means evaluation. Most of the corporate organizations have an appraisal mechanisms like you have weekly appraisals. Every week you will be evaluated. Monthly appraisals, quarterly appraisals. And depending on your appraisals, don't think that your appraisals are done by your seniors. No. Even a peon will be asked to judge you. So everybody observes you and everybody has a role to play in each other's performance. So you are a person very good with your manager, but you behave very badly towards your lower level employees, it will affect your career. Did you understand that point? So performance appraisals and feedback. The company will give you a feedback every month about your performance. So if you have not achieved your targets, they will pull up and say, Mr. X, your target was this and you achieved only this. Do you have an explanation? Next, the company will say, see, these many days you came late. Do you have an explanation? Next, these many days you did not come in proper attire, proper dress. Do you have an explanation? These are all compliance issues. And surprisingly, as I said, NASSCOM in its survey found that Indians, especially Keralites, have the highest rate of non-compliance issues. That means we Malayalis are very, very reluctant to submit to authority, to take orders, to listen to instructions. We find some kind of pleasure in disregarding, in disobeying instructions. I don't know for what reason, but that's a very, very bad habit. Please try to change that habit in your engineering college life. How? By obeying to your professors, by listening to your seniors if the instructions given by them are legal and proper, and always doing things on time the way you are asked to do. So if you are asked to submit an assignment tomorrow, submit it tomorrow itself. Don't give excuses. So the 3 C's are core competency, compliance, and compatibility. Fine. Now other skills which would make you employable, and this is again one interesting thing which NASSCOM found out, that Indians, though good in technical knowledge, are usually in the back, takes a back seat when it comes to communication skills. See, please understand, communication skill is not just about speaking good English. It consists of a lot of other things. Most important is your vocabulary, the words you use, especially English vocabulary, oral skills, your flow of language, your voice intonation, modulation, all these things to some extent will be trained by experts like us in the college, and when you go to corporate companies they will train you as part of your induction program. So like this induction program in your college, now you will have an induction program in your corporate company also, where they would give you specific training related to your job portfolio. One such training is on communication skills, where you'll have training on oral skills, vocabulary, grammar, sentence construction. So please start reading English newspapers, magazines, and improve your communication skills. Writing skills, very, very important that you can write well, write good emails. Companies like TCS in their placement have an email writing section. So when you are in your final year and TCS comes for placement, you will find that one test which you have to pass is email writing. They will give you a topic on which you have to write an email not less than 200 words. So your writing skills would be tested, in which your grammar, vocab, sentence construction, all would be evaluated. Report writing, you have to write project reports, agreements between your company and other companies, proposals. So all this would be your responsibility once you start working in an organization, and then you cannot afford to cut a sorry figure because you are weak in grammar or vocabulary. Fine. There is something very important known as telephone and corporate etiquette. For example, how many of you respond properly to WhatsApp messages? When you get a forward, when you get a message from your friend, from your teacher, from anyone, you just read it and ignore it. There is something known as acknowledgement. What do you mean by acknowledgement? When you get an email, when you get a phone call, when you get a message, you have to reply it properly. If you cannot pick up a phone call, send a message saying that you are busy, I'll call you later. That is manners. Etiquette means manners. So you'll be trained on all this. But telephone etiquette and corporate etiquette, how you behave in a corporate company, very, very important. Don't worry, you'll be trained on all these aspects. Client interaction and support. That is something which you will learn when you go higher up in your career to a managerial level. Example, the portfolio which I used to handle, I used to deal with international clients because I was working for an MNC when I passed out, and there we had to deal with Japanese, we had to deal with Indonesians, we had to deal with Africans, Europeans, Latin Americans, and North America. And there is a see difference in culture. So we were trained how to interact with a Japanese client and how is it different from interacting with a European client. So all these things you will learn, you will be trained when you go higher up in your career. This also makes you employable. Last but not the least, your grooming and health, your dressing, your hygiene, your attire, your elegance, your presentability. Basically, people should get a good feeling when they see you. They should not say yuck. They should not become repulsive in your presence. They should not feel like going away, running away from you on seeing you. So have a proper style of dressing which is elegant, maintain proper hygiene, choose your attire wisely, elegance and presentability. Fitness and exercise. Take care of your health, have proper food habits, exercise regularly, maintain a good posture, be presentable again. Please do not indulge in any addictions or indulgences. What do you mean by indulgences? Even social media beyond a limit is an indulgence. So anything which you do which is beyond your control is known as an indulgence or an addiction. Try to stay away. Stress and strain. Don't let stress and strain eat into your health. Avoid stress and strain by planning things properly. We will have a different session on stress management later. Yoga and meditation, along with exercise, yoga and meditation, if you could practice, that will really calm down your mind and you will get more control over your senses, which will help you take wise decisions throughout your life. Have good hobbies. Hobbies help you by becoming more creative and constructive. Every evening I play shuttle for 2 hours because I am so addicted to it in a good way because it is my hobby. So wherever I am, I make sure that between evening 6 to 8, I do some physical activity. And if I am in my home, I have a shuttle court nearby where I go and play for 2 hours because it helps me become very creative, constructive. It makes me rejuvenating, makes me feel younger again. It makes me feel refreshed, and I'm very regular and punctual in that. There is a kind of learning. When I see a lot of professionals playing there, I tend to imbibe their ways, how committed they are. And of course, extracurricular activities play a very important role. In your college, there might be a lot of associations like IEEE, IET, NSS, or any such association. If you could become part of and do some constructive activities, that will really help you apart from your academics. And most of the companies have something known as CSR policy, corporate social responsibility. You might have heard that Infosys sponsors many villages. TCS has many schools. TCS has helped in building COVID centers in Kasaragod district. You might have heard. All these are part of corporate social responsibilities. Wipro chairman Asim Premji is one of the most distinguished personalities involved in corporate social responsibilities. Microsoft CEO Bill Gates has a huge corporate social responsibility venture, which is Gates Foundation. Melinda Gates, his wife, is in charge of that. So most of the big corporate companies have corporate social responsibilities where they earmark, where they allocate a part of their profit for charity, social service, because they want to give back to the society the profit they have made from the society. All right. So all these are part of your employability skills. Fine. Any doubts? Now, last part. What makes successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and big corporate CEOs different from ordinary people? Just compare these two charts. Successful leaders read daily. They may have a phone with them, they have access to social media, they have the best TV programs, they have all the facilities, but still they make it a point that every day they read newspapers. They read newspapers from a paper, not from their phone, because reading is believed to have immense effect on your brain, especially when it comes to triggering memory. So those people who read from books are found to be much more intelligent and sharper than people who don't read or read from gadgets like Kindle or laptops or phones. So please make sure that you read something daily, not related to your academics, but newspapers, magazines, and good books like biographies or autobiographies. Whereas ordinary people spend their time on social media and TV. Successful leaders always take time to compliment others. That means if they see a good work, they'll always say that good job done. But if they don't like a work, they would say that you need to improve, you need to do better. Whereas ordinary people find mistake, find fault with others. They would pinpoint on others' mistakes. They would find opportunities to criticize others. What do successful leaders do? They embrace change. They are dynamic. That means they are progressive. They are eager to learn new skills. Their curiosity factor is high. They want to be up with the times. They want to move ahead of the times or along with the time. They don't want to be left behind. Whereas ordinary people resist or fear change. So something new happens. You might have seen many offices, unions are against computerizing. Why? Because they fear that they will lose their prominence, they will lose their importance. So ordinary people resist or fear change. Successful leaders, even if somebody makes a mistake, they forgive. Whereas ordinary people always hold a grudge, they find ways to take revenge. Successful leaders talk about ideas and they want to bring about a new trend. They are trendsetters. For example, when 5 of you are sitting in your hostel mess, if there is a leader among you, he or she will try to, come up with ideas to help the mess function in a better way, whereas the other 4 people would be gossiping and talking negatives about people around them. Very normal. Successful leaders always try to learn and update their skills, whereas ordinary people think that they are well versed in everything, they know everything. Leaders always take up responsibility and try to initiate things. For example, if I ask one of you to sing in a classroom, you will look at each other. Whereas leaders are people who are ready to take an initiative and do it by themselves. Whereas ordinary people tend to follow others, imitate others, and copy others' ways. So if you are a leader, you are a kind of trendsetter. Okay? Admit mistakes. One key important thing about leaders and successful people, they know where they are wrong and they have no problem in admitting their mistakes, and they take it on their head, shoulder, and try to amend themselves, change and improve. Whereas ordinary people, if there is a mistake, they would blame others and take credit if something goes good, blame others if something go wrong. Similarly, successful leaders have always been grateful to who helped them reach that position. One best example is Tata, head of Tata. So he is a wonderful person. He always sends birthday reminders to his teachers. Do you know that? Which is a very good thing about the Tata family. They always remember birthdays of their teachers, and also they remember the birthdays and wedding anniversaries of its employees, and they send acknowledgements. So that is gratitude. Whereas ordinary people are arrogant. They don't remember the good things done to them. They don't have gratitude, and they don't pay back good things which they have been reciprocated by others. Goal setting. Successful leaders have a target. They have a time frame to achieve certain targets. Whereas ordinary people think of the past, and they always brood over their past and regretting what they have done if they have done something wrong. And they don't think of the future. They live in the past. So basic difference. So next time when you do things, See if you belong to the column of successful leaders or you are doing things just like ordinary people. Having said that, let me tell you, these are the most important points that would make you a professional, make you a leader, make you a good entrepreneur if you are going to start your own business, or will make you employable and slowly and steadily rise high up in your career. Fine. So these are the points which I wanted to share about employability skills. Now it is your time to ask doubts. So please feel free. Now come up with your doubts on whatever we discussed today. Harsha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so students, now you may please come up with your doubts one by one. You may unmute and speak, or you may send messages. And Bobby sir or Harsha, you may take initiatives to share the PPT with the students. If you want, I can send it across to you. But as I said in the beginning of the session, it would have been better if you had taken down notes. All right? Yeah,
Okay, sir.
students, please come up with doubts. Do you want to know anything about internships? See, in the afternoon, we have one more session from Jay's Academy. The speaker is Bibin George Vargas. He is a pass out of Model Engineering College and he will take you through a session on career guidance. So please don't ask anything about future studies and future career options right now because Bibin is the best person. He has done his MBA also and he has worked with various multinational companies. So he will rightly guide you on future study options. Right now, please ask me doubts related to what we discussed specifically about internships, industrial visits, projects, or your life in an engineering college and your employability skills. Quick. We have 5 more minutes. Sir, how can I get admission? See, as I said, Anas, the afternoon session by engineer Bibin, George Varghese, will address that question. Okay. Sir, how can we get, sorry, I have a message here. Sir, why most of engineers in India are not paid well? Who said? Did you see this year's placement news in many newspapers? The highest pay package in India offered was 50 lakhs per annum. I repeat, 50 lakhs, 50. Do you think it is less? So professional graduates, even though he is a new entry level graduate, in your words you call it fresher, have very high pay packages in India. It is a myth that you are paid less because you are suitable only for that. Prove your mettle. As I said, professionalism, you will be paid high. Yeah, Abdul, I take that compliment. Thank you. Very good. Thank lecture. Sir, how to acquire more practical knowledge? Internships, the best way. Industrial visit. I know of a mechanical engineer in Lourdes Mata College here near my house in Trivandrum who is just in third year now, who goes to a workshop, who goes to a car dealer workshop in Trivandrum to get experience on weekends. Can you go to that extent to get experience? You should. How to get internship? See, internships, the first process is you have to get in touch with companies, go to companies' websites, Google search company operating in this particular field in India, in Kerala, in Trivandrum, in Thrissur. Go to their website. You will have a mail ID. Send a mail ID. Send a mail to them in their mail ID with a copy of your letter from HOD or principal saying that this student is a college student from our engineering college. Please provide internship opportunities for him. Most of the companies would take that. I'll give a lecture on internships later as part of your next training program. Okay. IIT Roorkee acquired 80 lakhs per annum domestic record. Very good information, Nihal. Thank you so much. You are more updated than me. I appreciate that. What about summer camps in IITs and NITs? Very good. You should try to attend, but more importantly, you should try to acquire knowledge and be able to explain what you gained in such summer camps. If somebody asks you that question in an interview, okay. All right, Bobby sir, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Bobby sir?
Yes.
Okay, I have a doubt here. What do companies look for in prospective first or second year student intern? Number one, your communication skills. Number two, your willingness to learn and how trainable you are. Your willingness to work, be a professional. As I said, compliance, compatibility, and core competency. Your interest is what matters. Is it better to do internship abroad or in India? It doesn't matter where you do in India or abroad. The company matters. The organization matters. Okay, Bobby will have other training to clear all this later. This is not the end of training program. Your college has a very strong training department. So I'm very sure that Bobby sir will organize more training programs to address your queries later. Sir, what if my internship period is more than my summer holidays? Get leave from my university. I'll give you an example here, Nihal. One of my students in Amrita University, Kollam, Amrita Engineering College, he got an internship offer from a foreign university and a foreign company, and he had to take 1 month leave from his regular class, which the university agreed, and he was given attendance, and also he was allowed to write the exam. So you need to take special permission from the principal or the university. But if in case it's a very good offer, no university or principal would deny such offers. Okay. All right, Bobby sir, hope I have cleared most of their queries and I have covered maximum aspects of employability. Hope you were also listening to it. Anything else, sir?
Okay, now we can conclude, sir. Now we can for
Okay.
this session. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
One
Thank you.
moment.
So the students have a lot of doubts on that. So maybe after their induction is over, we can have one or two more sessions with them where I can take up their individual queries and answer them in a more elaborate and specific way. Okay. All right, students, we will meet again. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening, and your doubts were so wonderful. I was in fact surprised to see that so many people came up with so many interesting queries. So happy to be with you. Take care, all the best, and see you soon. Thank you, Bobby sir, and thank you, Harsha, specifically. Thank you, Lijo sir. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Bye bye. See you soon. This is me, Jayesh, signing off.
Thank you, Jay sir. And so we'll be having another session and placements till afternoon at 2 p.m. So till that you'll be having another session. So see you all guys at 2 p.m. Thank you.